So this is J183, that's episode 19 of the My Team Lotus career mode, and we're here in USA at the Circuit of the Americas for a track that I don't like very much, once again, and yeah, onto track adaptation test. Fairly simple stuff for USA, although I only managed a green score because the gates were very strange. Like, my problem with this is it expects you to take like a qualifying lap, and for most of these circuits, it's the first time you've been driven on this game at all. So yeah, I take the gates pretty slowly, but either way, it's 30 points. I'll take it and move on. The deltas this track were very difficult to get, as I've just about got that one, but also spun out and hit the wall. So yeah, we got I think that was tyre wear, that was fuel test, sorry, just about. But then on race strategy, I completely failed it. So yeah, I couldn't even do the deltas, and the rest of them, the deltas were even harder, so failed absolutely everything. Got about 60 points there for practice, which is very poor, but we move on straight into qualifying now for the Circuit of the Americas. It's a circuit that, as I said, I'm not very good at, compared to AI at least. So yeah, my first lap in Q1, here it is. I'm braking for the lock-up corner. I've gone so wide there, and living up to its name, locking up the front left and getting all over the curves and exit. Really not good exit there. Now into the copied turn 8 from Turkey, and back towards this corner is so blind and difficult with no line. Got it all right there. We slowed down a little bit too much and lost a little bit of time on the apex, but yeah, through the final corner, going up to the line, it's going to be a 132.0. which is 1.5 seconds off my teammate De Vries, which is, yeah, very poor. Leaves me in 21st place. The car is probably capable of getting to Q2 just about. It's quite low midfield now, really. So Q2 should be the realistic aim. And through turn 1, we try and take it nice and calmly, not getting much loss of traction, which is good. We're a 10th up on the previous lap, but as we saw, the previous lap was very bad. So hopefully we can get a lot more time gained throughout the rest of the lap. But through the S section, this part of the track is actually really good. I do enjoy it, but broken a bit too early for that left-hander there. And through this fourth gear right-hander, very long, trying to keep it as far to the right as possible to open up the good exit for that little straight back towards down towards the end of sector 1. And yeah, it looks like a fairly decent go so far with 3/10 up, and I'm braking just outside 100 meter board. Qualifying is over, so this is all or nothing now. And onto the back straight, looks like a fairly decent exit. We'll gain time all down the straight because of that. And by the end of the straight, we're still just about 3/10, maybe even 4/10 up now through the tight and twisty section. These corners are very slow. You just got to make sure to take the apex very well. That corner we lost a lot of time at last time. Not got a perfect run. We got a bit of oversteer through exit there. But we've just about done it 6/10 up now. Coming around the Turkey turn 8 and down towards this blind left-hander. Trying to keep it as high speed as possible. Keeping it on the track nicely there, actually. 6th gear, and down towards the final corner. Braking 3rd gear. Trying to get the car turned in nicely. And an exit. Losing a little bit of time to the previous. But with 9/10 up now. And it's going to be only 20th place still, which is a little bit disappointing. But out in Q1. Only out qualifying the Williams cars, which is pretty poor. So yeah, my teammate De Vries actually scraped through in 16th, so well done to him. But I'm 8/10 off, is that? Yeah, 8/10 off. Which, yeah, I still haven't beaten him in qualifying this season. But being outside the top 10 obviously allows me to do the one-stop strategy, starting on the mediums to the hard tyres, which should be the better strategy. Although the game thinks it's 2-stop, but I think it 1-stop. So I'm going to go for that. I'll move on to the 5 red lights for the US Grand Prix from 19th on the grid. And it's lights out, and away we go. My teammate De Vries had a penalty, so did someone who's starting last. We've got a decent start compared to could be out alongside me. De Vries covers off the left-hand side, so we're going to go to the space that's there, trying to swing it all the way around the outside. Raikkonen's braking very early. Everyone's braking early, in fact. Come around the outside of about 9 cars, and we're now running outside of everyone. And on the exit, we're up into 10th. Somehow, we gained like literally 9 places in the braking zone of turn 1. That was probably my best start all season, really, and Sainz going very slowly. But yeah, I think that's Ricardo. It's got ahead of Albon, so it's now training us all up a little bit. Although the cars ahead, the Renault, the Racing Point, and the McLaren should all be faster than me, really. So I'd be surprised if we can keep up with them. We're probably going to be focusing more on Gasly and Giovinazzi behind than the cars in front. But still, up into the points on the straightaway, and everyone else on softs, obviously, so there's a chance that we have the strategical advantage. If they will do 2 stops potentially, then the 1 stop is definitely faster. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. Another thing to note is my engine was pretty poor. You can see on the tab on the right hand side, some of the units were on like 75. I just completely forgot to change them, to be perfectly honest. But yeah, now you can see DRS has been enabled. And we've got DRS gaps both ways, actually. Gasly dropped back quite quickly. I think he had damage. And Sainz also gaps me slightly. But yeah, we're kind of on our own at the minute, which is nice to see. So let's have another look at the race start. It was pretty ridiculous, really. The Mercedes with the new black livery on the front row there. Very nice new livery. Well done to Cody's for putting that in. But the launch was okay. It was fairly standard. But then we absolutely sent one up the outside of both Alphas and absolutely all of the midfield cars. Quite a lot of contact going on there. We made it 4 wide briefly. And yeah, running outside of literally all the cars and up into 10th place, and we move on. So hopefully we can continue gapping the cars. And Giovinazzi now, quite a bit later into the race, it's brightened up a lot in the weather, but Giovinazzi and Norris have both passed Gasly. But you can see on the minimap there's such a big gap now to Gasly, who's training up the rest of the grid. So really top 12 looks very much on, but Giovinazzi has just about got DRS. on me. He was definitely at the pace over me, especially on the soft tyres. So he just gained about 4/10 down that straight, which is a bit of a problem because he's now definitely close enough to start challenging me for this final points paying position. And you can see Science is pretty much gapped, 4 seconds now. And 1 lap later, same part of the track, and Giovinazzi's a lot closer this time, so you're going to have to fight him off quite a lot. They've got plenty of Earths to play with, and a lot of rich mix yet left to use. There's only lap 7, so you've got to be careful with that. But Giovinazzi in that Alfa Romeo, which is ridiculously quick on a straight line, and he's going to go to the outside for the next corner, and we're going to be starting tied down towards braking zone, braking nice and late, and holding that inside line should be fairly easy to keep that position. And we do up in 10th place, and through the rest of the final sector, it's very hard to make any moves here. Or he's going to try it. He actually makes contact with me once again. So many times I'm in contact with Alfa Romeos this season, it feels like, but nothing bad happened there, luckily, and we both move on. And a few cars are in the pits, have pitted now, including Hamilton and Leclerc, who are right behind me in this little train. Giovinazzi's going to pit into the pits as well on that soft. And all the top guys now, you can see on the mini-map, are all in the pits. It's going to elevate me into currently third place, actually. And quite a few of them went on hards, but I think 1 or 2 went on the softs again, including Hamilton and Leclerc, although obviously they're not really in my battle. So, yeah, the likes of Giovinazzi and Norris went on softs. Actually, Norris hasn't pit yet, but he's about to go on softs, I can tell you. So we will have the strategical advantage, if I get my words out, over those guys. But meanwhile, Hamilton's going up the inside of the final corner, very aggressive. Obviously crucial for him to get through this traffic as quickly as possible, fighting for the lead of the race, or the net lead, once everyone pits. And there is, I think, Albon pit quite late there on the mini-map. Hamilton went very defensive into turn 1, but just the traction of that Mercedes is ridiculous. He's going to take that quite easily. But as I was saying, Giovinazzi and Norris went for 2-stop strategies, so I should be on my own really for the rest of the race, unless they can catch up, because that strategy is pretty poor. But they definitely do have the pace to catch up potentially if the hards for me at the end fall off the cliff. And then Leclerc has also made the move pretty simply up into 3rd place currently, but Vettel a couple hours later is going to try and copy the same move as his teammate, and he's going to go up the inside at the same part of the track. No point fighting these guys, because at the minute we are not fighting them at all in the race, and they've got massive pace advantage over me. So yeah, I just want to let him by without losing any time at all, and focus on the likes of Ricciardo and the rest of the midfield, who might actually be fighting. Although Ricciardo's only 6 seconds behind going to the end, so probably not this race actually. But into the pits now, lap 12, onto the hard tyres. And it's important to try and get out in clear air and just kind of push as the rest of the race. I think Norris and Giovinazzi will have a massive undercut on me because they pitted about 3 or 4 laps ago onto soft tyres, so they'll be doing much better lap times than me. But into the pits now, it's a 1.9 second, which my pit crew has been insane this season, to be fair to them. But there go Giovinazzi and Norris. They're not that far ahead actually, but they've got another pit stop to do, of course, so I'm just trying to keep the pace up as high as possible. Obviously they're going to be pulling away on the softs, but then they'll pit again for mediums near the end. So as long as I can try and keep the pace up. And Giovinazzi is now in the pits, actually lap 17. That's only about 5 laps later, but Norris has got an 8-second gap, so that's not too bad actually, because Giovinazzi is going to come out in loads of traffic, I think, as well, off the Gasly train that was formed earlier in the race. But yeah, the lowest I'm going to finish, it looks like, is 12th, because the gap to the minimap is incredible. And there is Norris in the pits as well, onto the mediums. Stroll is actually the car directly behind me, 10 seconds back on the same tyres, so he should be easy to keep that gap to, because the racing point isn't that fast. Stroll's not a great driver in this game, and yeah, they're on the same tyres. But Norris is going to come out in clear air in 11th and just close that gap down as quickly as he can. It's 9 seconds to Norris with about 10 laps to go, and by the end, by lap 26, he has actually caught me up. So he's right in the DRS now. The McLaren is not the fastest on a straight line, which is quite helpful, because in the corners it's quite easy to hold the AI off. Meanwhile, there's a Williams off on the left, which is Latifi, who's retired from the race. No safety car or anything though. And yeah, through the final sector should be fairly straightforward to keep Norris behind through all these corners, although his traction is going to be very good. And you can see in the minimap, Stroll has just held Giovinazzi hostage in 13th. So realistically, it's a fight between me and Norris, and now starting the final lap of the race. It's been a fairly dead race really, but we've got to focus now and keep this point going home to the team, because yeah, I've worked pretty hard for it. I hope I can take it back, because yeah, it'd be very nice to get something out this weekend, which looks pretty bad after qualifying in 20th place. But yeah, through this first S section, it's very easy to keep him behind, but this is the crucial part, trying to get a good exit off of this corner and down the DRS straight, try to get as clean an exit as possible, no loss of traction, putting it into overtake mode, using the rest of my ERS, because we don't need to use it for the rest of the lap after this. Bottas has won by an absolute country mile from me, but meanwhile Norris is going to try and pressure me. He's going to go to the outside line, try to force him to go as wide as possible, and absolutely send one down the inside of of the hairpin, and Britt getting that slow down nicely there and keeping on the track. We've just about held off Norris, but he's got a good switchback move. He's going to the outside for this next corner, but not really ever wrong side enough for me to give him space. So that's a fairly straightforward defensive driving, and through the lock-up corner, just try and keep it nice and clean. No mistakes, and Norris shouldn't really have a chance to battle the Brits for the 10th place. It looks like, unless something catastrophically wrong happens, then we should be able to hold on to this 10th place finish, which at the start of the weekend I would have happily taken. The AI did seem very hard to beat around here. But I think I was helped out a lot by Gasly just causing absolute train in the first stint, which has allowed me a massive gap to everyone else. But Norris can't do anything. I'm going to come across the line for a single point, which I will happily take. That's all we need to do is keep plugging away into constructors, really. We're battling for the 8th place with AlphaTauri. Luckily for us, they scored no points this race. We got 1, so yeah, it could be a lot worse. Bottas and Hamilton take home 44 points for Mercedes there, and I'm in 10th place. My teammate De Vries got a bit screwed by that train, so finished in 16th. But yeah, I'll happily take that. Standing, as you can see, we're up level with Giovinazzi now, who's had a pretty poor end to the season, really. We're up on 50 points, and my teammate De Vries still on 2 points that he got on his first race and not scored since then. We're only 6 off AlphaTauri now, so that's the real battle for the rest of the season, to try and catch them and boost our position in the constructors. But Norris is actually my rival as well, so it's quite fun that we were battling each other for so long in that race. But yeah, that's going to be the end of this video. I hope you have enjoyed it. If you have, leave a like, subscribe if you want to see more. This has been JY3, and I will see you next time.